of school, between sending home the principal's letter a few weeks ago and the report card folders, the robocall that went out on Friday. Also, we did the letters today. We went through the car ride area. I think Ms. Stone must have given about 200 letters, just to remind. Mr. Gable and I, assistant principal, made several announcements. And I know for parents, it's just so hard when you go to work and you work hard and then you got to go home. But those of you that came, that really means a lot to me, and I appreciate that. The purpose of this meeting is all about school safety. And we wanted to reassure our parents, the community, the teachers, that as a school, we take that very seriously. And so what I'd like to do at this time, play about a 3-minute video that my teachers have seen. And I've seen this video, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 times, and I just love this video. And it's, some of you have seen the story or heard the story about the Imple pickle jar. And after it's over with, I'm going to connect it to the purpose of this meeting. Mr. Gable?
Hit the play button again. No, there you go. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Gable. I just think that we have to be reminded, that as adults, and especially working with young people and trying to make things work for us, that we got to remember what are the golf balls, what are the priorities for us. And at school, if you talk to the staff, and I want to thank the teachers for being here, the priorities are definitely school safety, school discipline, academics, character education. And today we're going to talk about three. This meeting's not about academics. We'll have that at another time. But this meeting's about school safety, school discipline, and character education. And we want to share with you, we're at Pickens County Middle School, we're very proud of what we've accomplished in those three areas. And we want to share with you, and then we want to give you a chance to ask this panel. And I want to introduce the panel. If we can go ahead and pull up the agenda, Mr. Cable, so everybody knows I've got to end to this. My goal is to try to get you out of here as quick as I can, but to have a good meeting, and to definitely get you out of here before 8 o'clock, because Coach Weaver is watching a lot of your kids right now, and I can't, I need his sanity. So we'll go ahead and give him a chance to have a balanced life himself. So I'm very fortunate. I got two of my grade level chairs here. Ms. Henderson, 6th grade chair, and if you just raise your hand for me. And then Ms. Waters is not here. She's getting ready for a field trip tomorrow with the 7th grade, so she's resting up for that. Ms. Callahan is here for 8th grade. Appreciate her being here. My wonderful teachers, but wonderful PTO president, Ms. Stephanie Jones is here. We've got a friend. He doesn't have really any direct ties to us, other than that he's been working hard with us with our school safety plan, not only for PCMS, but for the whole school system, and that's C.J. Warden, and he is representing GEMA, and he'll probably talk to you a little bit about GEMA here in a few minutes. Terrific Sergeant Chris Leak, in charge of the school resource officers, also a deputy for the county. And then Mr. Gable is right over here. He's going to be sliding in here in just a minute when he gets a chance. My veteran, and we're very fortunate to have Shannon Gable, because it's like this the Lion King, Shannon, the circle of life. He started out as a middle school teacher, went to the high school as a high school teacher, high school administrator, and now he's come back as a middle school administrator. So his circle of life's coming full circle. And speaking of full circle, boy, what a big circle too, and that would be Officer Gillette, a man of many talents and many gifts. And he's our beloved school resource officer here at Pickens County. You ever watch him walk down the hallways or come into the cafeteria, it's like the circus has come to town. They're excited to see him. And then we're very blessed this year to have Midge Hollenbeck. She's our school nurse and does a beautiful job. And I appreciate all of you being here. So they'll be here to answer questions about discipline here in just a few minutes. And of course, I'll be here as well. I want to talk to you about the parent involvement component. On the table back here is our parent surveys. If you don't get a chance, we've been challenged by the superintendent last Friday. All the schools have to get 70 more parent surveys done by the end of next week. And so we're working hard. So every one that you do, like we had one today, and I said, okay, that's 69 down. So we're counting down, and we hope that we have more than 70. By the end of the week, we've got to get these surveys done. So your involvement and your input is important. The surveys are back there. You can do them while you're here, or you can take them home and bring them back tomorrow. We're going to be working, we're going to be kind of a blitz trying to get as many parents as we can. The FERPA law. I think a lot of you know that FERPA stands for Family Education Rights Privacy Act. And it's very similar to the medical rule. They have the HIPPO law. Thank you, Midge. I hope I said that correct. And there's, we can't talk about individual students and their educational rights and so forth. The questions, and Ms. Gertie said you'll be handing out index cards. So any questions that we use today, and if you need an index card to write a question, feel free to do so. She'll give it to you and we'll take it. As long as it doesn't violate the FERPA law, we'll be glad to try to give you an answer. And if we don't know the answer, we'll try to find it and get word back to you. We're going to go briefly over the school-wide discipline plan here in just a second. Mr. Gable's going to do that. And then we got the CARES program that I'm going to go over briefly. And then we're going to talk about the emergency preparedness plan, and then we'll have your questions and answers, and then we go home. And I'm excited about the opportunity to do that. Mr. Gable, if you'll go ahead and pull up the green PowerPoint. And parents, to let you know this, at the beginning of the year, the first Friday, Mr. Gable and I bring all the kids down and we have an assembly. And what you're about to see is what the kids saw earlier this year, and it goes over our program. And you might find it very interesting to see what the Dragon Bees are all about. So Mr. Gable will swap places and let you do that for them. And this might generate some questions, so feel free to write down those as we go along here.
Thank you, Dr. Muir. Thank y'all for coming out tonight. We'll run through this, like you said, fairly quickly. But again, this is something, what we did was we broke this up, boys, girls. At the beginning of the year, Officer Gillette and I took the boys into the media center. We went through this. Dr. Lemieux and our counselor, Ms. Nancy Pruitt, took the girls in here and basically went through the same stuff with them. But EBIS, Effective Behavior and Instructional Support. This comes from how many years ago, Dr. Lemieux, when you applied for this grant?
Since it's about 12 years ago, since 2001, 2002.
Sometime back. It's been in place that long here at Pickens County Middle School. And as the years went on, it's become more and more effective in terms of school-wide discipline. Something that you'll see in the halls, you'll see it in here. It's right there above that door. The Dragon Bees. Be respectful, be responsible, be safe. And there's things under each of those that we constantly go over with the students. As far as those three areas there. You'll see that, like I say, in the gym, the hallways, everywhere in the building. Talking about teaching appropriate behavior. DNN, that's the Dragon News Network that our technology teacher and their students put on each week, or for the most part each day for us. Character Ed is on Mondays. There's different things that we do in Character Ed, different topics. It hadn't been too long ago that we pulled boys and girls back into the gym again and spoke to them about some topics on Character Ed. We brought in some speakers, some adult speakers, also some peers that they could relate to. These are maybe high school students that maybe have been through this school and have become successful now as high school, and they came back and talked about how they got to where they were. So these students can see what can happen if you do the right things. We were talking about EBIS referrals. Students receive EBIS for inappropriate behavior. These examples: disrespect, refusal to obey a reasonable request, classroom disruption, profanity, and vulgarity. We're talking about progressive now. First offense, second offense, third, and so on. When you get down to the fourth one, that's when I get to see them. That primarily 1, 2, and 3, these teachers are making the contacts with the parents, building that relationship with that parent. Hopefully can turn that behavior around before it gets down to that fourth one, and then administration has to get involved. That's our goal. Again, we're talking about the Dragon Bees here and all the different places these things are expected. Dragon Scales, Thursday. If you ever come Thursday, especially to 6th grade, even 7th grade, by the time they get to be in 8th grade, it doesn't seem to be as big a deal to them. But we bring in what we call the Dragon Wagon, and there's all kind of things on there for these students. And they can take those Dragon Scales, and it's Dragon money for them. They're rewarded for the positive things they've done by their teachers. They can take those Dragon Scales and then buy things off that Dragon Wagon. And we have to say, guys, back up, and they're just constant. They love it. Behavior point card. Parents, if you've looked in your agendas, you'll see those. They're there for all 4 9 weeks. At the end of every 9 weeks, we do something for good attendance and good behavior and attendance day. This past 9 weeks, we had a jazz band that came in and played for those folks that met this criteria. We just run a modified schedule where everybody goes to their classes like normal. Might cut a few minutes out of those, but at the end of the day, those folks are being rewarded for doing the right thing throughout that 9 weeks. We talked about good attendance and behavior. Some semi-annual big ticket things that we might do here. Principal Student of the Week. If you look at the marquee up there, there's names up there periodically for that. The Dragon Wagon, we mentioned that. The Dragon Scale Store. Let me back up. The Dragon Wagon Store. Some of the ladies here in the audience come in on Friday and sell spirit wear and other things off of that. And we appreciate y'all coming in as well and doing that for us. But of course, we mentioned the dragon scales. We just got through having our first 9 weeks Renaissance Honors Day, where those students that met that criteria for those 3 different levels received different incentives, things out in the community. Our sponsors provide them with maybe some maybe some gift cards, that kind of thing, where they could go out and use that to, I guess, be rewarded for the good things they've done here and the grades. A couple things that we're always constantly working on, and it's something we work on all the time, and you'll see those there. And one particular thing there is the social media abuse. It's something we've talked a little bit about tonight already with our gentleman here from GEMA, and also I've talked to Sergeant Leake several times as far as the social media and how we have to constantly stay on top of that. Can y'all add anything to that right now as far as things that go on and as far as the things we have to be conscious of all the time?
Just as far as social media, it's something that we have to stay on top of on a regular basis. Watching the Facebook and speaking with parents and families about and educating them on how to monitor their kids' social media sites. There's the new social sites pop up every single day, yeah. And the kids jump on there and create accounts faster than their parents can keep up with it. So we team up with the parents oftentimes just to kind of help each other out. I've had some parents come in and teach me a thing or two about Facebook and Twitter that I didn't know before. So we work together on that just to kind of keep the kids safe, because a lot of times they don't realize when they put themselves out there, they're out there. And it's a big safety thing for us and for the community to make sure these kids aren't putting too much on there that will get them in trouble or get them hurt.
Thank you. Some of the awards that Pickens County Middle School have achieved over the last few years, and as you can see, they're multiple, and it's because of all the hard work that this faculty does, and Dr. Lemieux and everybody here.
Shannon, I want to go over this right here. Can you kind of
Sure.
talk a little about that?
Okay, this is just some discipline data that goes back. I think you're going all the way back there. It's about the time that you started EBIS, it looks like. Almost as far back. And what that amounts to is it says referrals per 100 students. It says major referrals. We'll look at what that means here in a few minutes. Now, somewhere along the lines there, that we went from being about, 1,100 down to about 500 or so?
Yeah, but this right here is when they were around.
They're
all about 500 kids.
When about 500 kids all there. As you can see, last year, the numbers have dwindled each and every year. Talks about by grade level, 6th, 7th, and 8th. This is something that we use all the time. It comes from a program called SWIS that we can monitor all this different discipline once it's entered into that program. And this is something that we really use a lot here as to the type of offenses that we have to constantly monitor more than others. And at the same time, we also look at locations and time of days that these things might happen too. And that's important to know.
Is this aggregate? Is this the EBIS right here?
I think so.
I mean, EBIS.
Mm-hmm. Here we're talking about location. I don't know if the one's up there as far as time of day or not, but we do have one of those too that we pull from and look at it real closely too. We have a EBIS committee that I meet with once a month, and we go over these statistics that you see right there every month. The number of referrals for that month, where they happen, what time of day, again, what kind they were, what should we do, what can we change differently. Ms. Stone is on this committee with us, Ms. Pettigrew as well. I think Miss Nelson, 3 of the teachers is in the room right now, serve on the committee with me.
Shannon, it's hard for them to read in the back. Can you tell them what the colors mean?
You scroll down just a little bit there. All right. The largest color there that you see says students with 0 to 1 referral. And that's from what, last school year, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the ones in yellow?
Actually, it's several years.
Several years, okay. Over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. 0 to 1, and then of course the yellow is 2 to 5, and then the red is 6 plus. So you see the majority of our students doesn't have that many office referrals.
We call the red our adopted kids, right?
Yes. What typically happens is with that point card that we talked about a few minutes ago, they start losing points, but they reach a point where these consequences kick in, then they realize, hey, I might need to start earning some of my points back. And that's essentially how EBIS works. This one here deals with per day or month. As you can see, March Madness. Typically, we've been in school for a while when that kicks in right there.
That's right.
Christmas.
0-16.
Right.
Every time. Teachers are working hard now. Okay, that's it.
That's it right there. I think you're up, Dr. Mew, with CARES.
Thank you, Mr. Gable. Thanks for going through that quickly. I appreciate that.
So Mr. Gable went over our discipline plan, and so when you go back and talk to people, please let them know that we have a school-wide discipline plan, and it's research-based, and it's proven. You saw the data where it's making an impact. We have a program that's kind of connected to the Dragon Beast, but it is a separate program. It's called CARES, and every day we meet in CARES. Your child comes to school, and they go to what you would probably call homeroom. We call it the CARES room. And they go and they have a teacher, and this teacher is their CARES teacher all year, and they're their advocate. So let's keep sliding down here. The CARES acronym stands for Character Education, Advocate or Advocacy, Remediation, Enrichment, and Spirit. And every day has kind of a connection. On Mondays we do our Character Ed program. They spend 20 to 30 minutes with their advocate teacher, and they go over our Character Ed programs that we want them to learn, whether it's bullying or goal setting, those types of programs. Tuesday through Thursday, we spend time remediation or enrichment. If your child needs remediation, this is the time that we target that, and they can also ask for help during that time, and they work with their teachers on that. Fridays is our Spirit Day. We want our kids to take a lot of pride in their school. So they either go to clubs. They have 2 clubs that they get to choose, and they will alternate them every week. Or we have some type of pep rally or Character Ed assembly. And down there at the bottom, it's hard for you to see, but I had a former principal that got his doctorate degree based on our CARES program in 2010, 2011. He did a study, and the results of his study is that the program is highly effective, and we're appreciative. He got his doctorate, and we got to research from it. Can we go to the blue PowerPoint? And I think that's short and sweet. And we'll just go from the beginning. Oh, you lost it. There we go. Go back to the red one. No, go to the red. There you go. And yeah, CARES. And then from the beginning up there. Thank you, Mr. Gable. And click it. As soon as it's going to have to give you an in-service. Yeah, you better go over there and help him, Ms. Paula. Just help him out there. As much grief as you give him, this is sweet redemption right here for her. We were going to get out of here by 8 o'clock. I did not see this. There we go. All right. Okay. So, can you go back a slide? No, I think this is. I think you let her get a head start on it. So there you go. Okay. So again, this is a program that Dr. Buell did a study, and this is actually I want to give him credit for this research, and we also presented this research. I think Ms. Nelson, Dr. Nelson, you were one of the members that presented, right, down in Savannah. So she knows this slide well. All right. So we'll keep going. Our kids deal with despair. And it might be school related or it might be coming from outside the school, but we know that our kids come to school and sometimes they're not always happy. And just like right now with adults and their work, they're overwhelmed. You know, I don't remember middle school or elementary school doing anything that's high stakes testing like these kids are having to do now. We might have had an ITBS test, but it didn't determine whether or not we got promoted. But these kids are having to deal with high stakes testing. They're having to deal with defeat. They're having to realize that they're not always going to be successful. And they deal with the bullying issue because middle school kids are like Labrador retrievers in a china shop. They're trying to find their social boundaries. And, you know, myself and Officer Gillette and Officer Leak and Mr. Gable and the teachers, we're trying to help them teach them their social boundaries. And some of them feel alone. I feel for these kids that move. We get these kids that moved in to the school system, like they're brand new to Pickens County, and I know they're going to have to deal with this type of feeling. So we have to help them get through their alone time. And as you see some of the pictures there. So you see the problems: academic rigor, high-stake testing, transitions during adolescence, and then just the peer pressure. The middle school, they're dealing with adult-type issues. And let's be honest, TV's not helping us out. Movies are not helping us out. Music's not helping us out. Literature's not helping us out. These kids are being exposed. So parents, we want you to be part of the solution. So what is the solution at the school? You probably just click now. You probably can use your little... Don't do that. Don't do that.
Next.
I think you can click now. All right, so we got character education class. We talked to you about that. And teachers, I just got good news. You remember the program we were looking at, the Mindsets program? Well, central office told me that they might have funding now for us. And this is an $8,000 to $10,000 program. It's web-based. It's based on an outstanding novel that I'm excited about that our kids will really appreciate, that the teachers brought to my attention. All right? We talked about advocacy. There was some research done not too long ago that said that kids that were at risk with their behavior stated that there was no adult in the building that cared for them. And, you know, as teachers and administrators, we find that hard to believe because we care for all our kids. But for kids that are at risk, they felt like there was no adult in the building that cared for them. So we try to teach our advocate teachers to make sure that every one of their kids, and they have small groups, and they're usually the same sex, either all boys or all girls. What we would say, Mr. Gertie, about 15 to 20 kids right around there. We try to keep it less than 20, and that they get to meet these kids every day, and there's somebody they can go to. And you see some of the things that they work with. They act as a school parent to support and motivate. Remediation, we talked about that. That's Tuesday through Thursday. And we talk about opportunities enrichment. We use our connections teachers. 6th grade is Tuesday, 7th grade is Wednesday, and 8th grade on Thursday. And a lot of these kids get to go down and they rotate through, lifetime sports, music, computer activity. You get to have a good time from the beginning of the day. And so there's enrichment. There's some of the activities you see them doing right now: art, music, PE. Recognize that one, Ms. Jones?
Yes, I did.
Camp, computers, academic games. These are some of the enrichment activities they get to do if they're caught up with everything. Media center. And then, of course, S is school spirit. And we really try hard to get these kids excited about being at PCMS, being a dragon. Okay. And there's some of the things that we talked about earlier. And those are all the different clubs. And there's a lot of clubs that they can join. Some of them are academic based. And again, we let them choose. And at the middle of the year, because middle school kids, they change their mind. Middle of the year, we let them kind of make adjustments if they want to. Okay. And there's the CARES program again. One thing I want to tell you, a lot of you have got college degrees, and Maslow, he was very big into sociology, and he said that if you want somebody You remember this guy? I'm sure that you guys have picked it up too in your jobs. If we want to get them to the top of the pyramid where they feel good about themselves and their jobs, we have to get through the first parts: physiology, the safety, the belongingness, and the esteem. So we know that. And there's another theory right there: self-determination, autonomy, competency, and relatedness. So these are all theories we work with. You gotta be passionate, and those are some of the research that we've got involved with over the last few years. All right. Therefore, it is. That could be bad, or it could be. And this is where we want to be, where they're laughing, they're sharing, they're engaged, they're working with their teachers, creating caring communities. That's what we try to focus on. That's one of our big golf balls. So if we understand the attitudes and the perceptions, because we know their perceptions determine. So here's what we want to do. We want to modify to meet their needs. We want to provide professional development for ourselves to help meet those needs. We want to involve you guys as stakeholders, and we want to make sure our school improvement plan is geared towards the whole child, not just one part of the child. And there you see, that's a picture a couple of years ago when when we still had our own football team. This year we combined, and this is at the Patriots Bowl. We got the trophy for beating our rival, Jasper Middle School, and a lot of happy people that day. Thank you, Mr. Gable. Yeah, if you don't mind.
Keyboard, top left.
Top left. Ooh, I can't believe I know that.
If you'll go to the emergency plan right here. All right, so we're getting down towards the end of our program. CJ, would you come up here for a second? You walk up here. Mr. Walford met with me last week, and early this year, I gave him my emergency preparedness school safety plan, and he looked over it, and he gave us a good rating, but he also said we had room for improvement, and he really gave me some good ideas, and so we're working with him along with the whole school system to improve our safety plan so that we meet all types of needs. Would you tell a little bit about yourself and GMA?
Good evening. As he said, I work for Georgia Emergency Management Agency, and I work in field operations. And there are 5 of us in the state that handle school safety. And we work with public schools, private schools, colleges, daycares if they ask, anybody that asks that's in the business of working with children. And we have 3 major components. Excuse me. The first one is training. We offer training to anybody that has anything to do with schools on any school safety topic that you can think of. The second is technical assistance, and that kind of breaks into 2 different categories. One is facilities, anything that we can help facilities or with respect to facility safety to make sure that we're getting the most bang for our buck with the facilities we have. And then the other thing is school safety planning, which is what he's got up here on the board. And the other thing is emergency response. If there's some sort of a catastrophe, or it doesn't even have to be a catastrophe, if Dr. Lemieux or Dr. Perry or anybody calls us and says that they need help and they're screaming for help, then I'll drop what I'm doing and come help them and help get through whatever's happened as painlessly as we can.
So CJ met with myself, Sergeant Leak, Director of Operations, Mr. Little, who was going to be here tonight, but he's at a called board meeting, and the high school administrator, Mr. Colbert, and he met for over 2 hours and went over each one of our plans and really did a great job. And we're teachers. I will go over some of the things that he recommended at our grade level meetings this Wednesday. And the whole school system is revamping, and we're excited. I think we've got a good plan in place right now, but I'm excited about starting in a few weeks when we revamp the whole thing, and Sergeant Leak is a big part of that. We appreciate his work. Can you just slide up just a little bit just to show? I can't show you the entire plan, one, because you don't have time, about 22 pages. Plus, some of this stuff, believe it or not, and Sergeant Lee could speak to this, we're not supposed to show because of, how would you word it, Sergeant Lee? We're not, just to protect the school system in case of emergency. We don't want the wrong people having information that they could use to their advantage. But if you look right here, this is the first page of the plan, and it has all the people that are part of the system, emergency team members, and you see all the principals and central office, and Dr. Perry, Lula Mae Perry is our superintendent, and Mr. Little is our director of operations. So we've got a lot of people that will come to our help if we need any type of assistance. All right, can we get out of that? And I think we're down. If we go back to the agenda, I think we're towards the end of our agenda. Okay, so I'm down to last questions, responses. If you want to bring me the cards, if you any questions, you want to have. Let me go ahead and put this down.
Do we have any questions right here? Okay. All right, I'll take these right here. I think, don't you think, Sergeant, since there's only a few of us here, we probably just open it up. Is there any questions before we dismiss that anybody might have, since I've got this? One thing I want to say right now, it is, not all schools have school resource officers in the school. I've got a lot of friends of mine that are middle school principals and high school principals in southern school systems, and that's not always a given case. And Sergeant Leake and I went to training last year, and we saw that schools that have school resource officers in the building, it's very rare. In fact, at the time they said there was no recorded case of any type of homicide taking place at that school. If you look at all the cases on TV where, unfortunately, where there might have been a homicide, like student-on-student type homicide at the school, there's usually a case where there's no school resource officer that's even there stationed. We're lucky that we have Officer Gillette, and when he's not here, either Officer Leake will come in or another police officer will come in and help us out. Also, another thing I want to say is Nurse Hollenbach, there's a lot of schools that, more so, that do not have school nurses. And I can't tell you, I'm so blessed at Pickens County that we have a school nurse in all the schools. And we're very blessed to have that. I worked at a school in Gwinnett County one time as assistant principal. 3,100 kids. Now think about that. Middle school, 3 grade levels, 3,100 kids. We had no school nurse. We had volunteers that would come in, parents that would come in, and if I was a school board attorney for that school system, I'd be real nervous. So Midge has done a beautiful job helping us. She sent kids to the emergency rooms that needed to go to the emergency room. Had they not gone, they would have been hurt pretty bad, I think, and it could have been life-threatening. So thank you for all of y'all for being here. Any questions at all? Okay. Well, seeing that there are no questions, I do need to see the teachers. Everybody else, just have a good night, and thanks for coming. I appreciate it.